just before we start, we will have a revision to the meeting. We will not be having Ashley Whelan here. She had a family emergency, so hopefully she might be able to come from Congressman Crow's office. So hopefully she may be coming back sometime before the end of the year. So, okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for being here on the Pfizer meeting today. We have no consent items. Approval of the minutes of May 23rd, 2025. Councilmember Hancock and Councilmember Jurinsky, do you approve the minutes or do you have any revisions?
I approve.
Okay. Okay, we'll move those forward.
Approve, no revisions.
Okay, I approve as well. So we're going to go ahead and start. Is Lori on?
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, I'm on.
Okay, go ahead, Lori, with the federal legislative update.
Sure. I'll start with the reconciliation bill. During our last Pfizer meeting, the House had passed it by a narrow vote. Since then, over the past month, the senators and the committees have been reviewing the bill, and there are a number of changes in the Senate bill versus the House bill. I'll go over now and share a few of the provisions that most relate to the city of Aurora. But for process, to be a reconciliation bill, there's a rule called the Byrd Rule, and this means everything in the bill has to only pertain to the budget and to spending in general. It cannot make new policy. So today, the Democrats are meeting with a parliamentarian who has the say on what can be included in the bill or not, and have about 60 to 65 provisions they think that are policy versus revenue related to energy and healthcare. The Senate Finance Committee, which oversees the majority of the bill, is meeting with the parliamentarian on Monday to go through all their tax provisions. The goal is to have a vote on it starting on Wednesday, and they'll do a vote-a-rama for 3 days where there'll be a ton of amendments offered. But the bill then will pass and has to go over to the House side. So the House and Senate leadership have been working together as they review these different changes because they don't want it to go back and forth between the House and Senate. Once it passes the Senate, it needs to be able to pass the House. But keep in mind, it only passed the House by one vote and by the president going over to meet with the House in person, then also bringing a number of members to see him as well on the White House. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. The goal is to have it done by July 4th recess. And so reviewing several of these provisions, some good ones. Both bills extend the low-income housing tax credit. The House extends it until 2029, and the Senate makes it permanent, which is good news. Kind of the city has been utilized that as always part of your federal priorities. The Senate also permanently extends New Markets Tax Credit Program, which I know you all found of interest in financing some projects previously. On Medicaid, as you know, under current law, states can impose higher cost sharing for targeted groups, but there are a number of populations that are exempted, including children and pregnant women. Both the House and Senate bills will actually require that states beginning October 1st, 2028, impose cost sharing for these Medicaid expansion population with a family income that exceeds 100% of the federal poverty line. There's a lot of controversy over that. There's a number of Republican senators that are very concerned about this and are working to change that. SNAP, both House and Senate bills similarly cut that program. Once again, there are a number of Senate Republicans that are very concerned about that. In addition, a number of energy tax credits that were created in the Inflation Reduction Act have been eliminated in both bills, and there are several Republican senators working on that as well. So a lot to do before this gets over the finish line. So it's hard to tell about timing right now. Like I said, the goal is July 4th, but there's still a number of issues with this bill, and as of currently, I don't think they have the votes in the Senate to pass it, knowing that no Democrats will vote for it. And then, of course, on the House side, there's only a 3 or 4 vote majority over there too. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Any questions before I go to appropriations? 'Cause I just shared a lot in a really quick time period.
Councilmember Hancock, do you have any questions? I have a question, but go ahead.
No.
Okay, Councilmember Jurinsky?
Nothing from me.
Okay, so Lori, I just have a question. If it's gonna be probably deadlocked and not pass in the Senate, then it's gonna go back to
They'll work it out.
Oh,
They'll work it out
some.
somehow. I'm just saying the
Okay.
provisions I'm telling you right now will not
Uh-huh.
probably be in the final bill. I think
Okay.
there's going to be some changes to make sure, but they are going to get it done somehow.
Okay, I've been reading I do have a copy of the Senate bill version. And I
Yes.
know that they were, one of the issues that's really important in Aurora, although I haven't really seen it work into what the real intent was opportunity zones.
I'm so sorry, I
Um,
forgot about that one. That was the very first
yeah,
one. That was
so,
good news. That's in both.
Yeah, and I know that there's some further, again, I have expressed this to our city staff that, they don't really give us updates on opportunity zones, but how the intent of those were supposed to be
Mhm.
is really not how it's been, to me, in my opinion, in Aurora, what they were supposed to be meant to be. So I know I saw the House side, and then I also just read about the Senate side.
Mhm.
So what, can you kind of give a little background or a little detail on that, since that's an important issue in Aurora as well?
Sure. As when y'all were in DC recently, you saw it's definitely a priority for the Secretary Turner and also for the President as well. So the House extends the opportunity zone and lets another round to be available with some minor tweaks in how it was structured earlier. And the Senate permanently creates a program. And I think it comes because Senator Tim Scott was one who created
Yeah.
the program.
Mhm.
And I think he pushed for that in the Senate.
Okay, so how does that impact municipalities?
So y'all could have, we'll have to see. I don't know the exact details of how they change
Okay,
the requirements, like for population and for median income. I can look
Okay.
that up for y'all for both the
Okay.
House and Senate, but there will be another round for y'all to apply for.
Okay, can you provide the committee with an update on that a little
Yes.
bit more? Because
Absolutely.
that is a issue that I really think we need to, talk about a little bit more
Mhm.
on this council. Because again, I remember when we went to Senator Tim Scott's office to discuss this, and ever since this has been in place in Aurora, it hasn't been, to me, the purpose of what and the intent has not been done. So I would like to make sure that we keep updated on that so we can see, what direction we may need to go for this. So that's just my thought on that. Councilmember Hancock, do you have a
I would agree.
suggestion
No,
or anything?
I'm shaking my head because I'm concurring with what you're saying, because frankly, we haven't seen any activity. And if there's any funds tied to this, then we should be implementing these things. And since I've been on the council, I have no sense that this is even occurring. So yeah, that's a concern.
Okay,
I'll say
so
one.
go ahead. Liz, go ahead.
Sorry, Lori, didn't mean to interrupt, but yes. To the committee's point, opportunity zones are something that we're tracking heavily. Just to note, in the Senate version, it does say there is going to be opportunity zone funding available beginning January 1st, 2027, if this version of opportunity zone provisions pass. So this is something like we are very much tracking, and I've been keeping our staff updated on as well, just
Okay.
as this move forward to make sure that we're tracking these opportunities.
Yeah, I might bring it up to the PED chair to make sure to see if she can have a presentation. Again, as I stated, being on this council, we really don't talk about it. We kind of I think we got a brief, I guess from AEDC, but I'm just trying to figure out how that works with the city. So I really want to make sure we track this, Liz, and so we can kind of keep it on on the agenda
Absolutely.
and in our minds, because I think it's really an important thing a tool that we need for our city. So that's just all I want to say on that. And Lori,
I'll
go
find
ahead. I'm
some more
sorry. I didn't
details
mean
on
to
it.
interrupt. Okay.
You know, so I'll find more details on how it changes the process than it was before. And then
Okay.
second, and I've noticed in the notice of funding opportunities for grants, this administration also is prioritizing grant awards and if they're located in the opportunity zone.
Okay, that would be great then. We definitely need to keep track
Yeah.
of that. So, and also too, I want to say Liz told me that we did get our Protect grant, all the funding. So
Yes,
that's
it came
fantastic.
through.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
absolutely.
a battle. So,
Yes.
all right, Lori, go ahead and continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. That was I said a lot in very short time period. Appropriations. The House has begun its marking up its appropriation bills and their committees. So far, they've done Department of Defense, military construction, VA. They have not gotten to the bills that where our earmarks lie from Congressman Crow. That's Commerce, Justice, Science, and Transportation HUD. Those are going to be marked up in mid-July, and they usually list out the earmarks that are actually included in the bill the day of the subcommittee markup. So I'll be sharing that with Liz as soon as those bills are publicized. So Congressman Crow submitted, I think, like 6 for us, which is amazing. And including many of the ones we did last year with a couple of new ones. So we just want to see right now, the appropriation staff are going through all the earmarks to decide which ones actually make it in the bill. And this past week, the senators announced their earmarks, and there were a number as well. I think they submitted almost everything we asked for, which is great. Once again, it shows y'all did a great job of coming up with the right projects that fit your delegation's priorities. And the Senate has not yet put together a timeline for when they're going to consider appropriation bills. So I'll keep Liz updated on that.
Okay. Is there any other updates, Lori?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. That's a lot. There's a lot going on in DC.
Yeah, and I'll try to be concise.
There's a lot. So thank you so much. And is there any other questions from the committee before I let Lori go?
None from me.
Okay. All
Not
right,
from
Lori.
me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lori. I appreciate all the updates and all that you're doing in DC. So thank you. Okay, our state legislative update. I see we have Peggy and Cammie, and I don't know, I don't see Totsi, so.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, hi, Totsi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I'm doing good. So go ahead. We're ready for the state legislative updates. There's a lot going on there as well.
Peggy was going to kick this off. Can you unmute Peg? She's texting. So while we were,
Who's in
I
charge
just
of the?
sent Peggy the link to the
We
meeting.
are trying to work to unmute her and get her unmuted on our end. So
Okay,
we
let's
are
start
we
with
are working on that.
Okay, we
So-
always have some technical difficulties,
Yeah.
so go ahead, Todd.
so I'm just going to let you all know that during the interim, the legislature last year passed a bill that cut 8 interim committees from its schedule this year in hopes to saving about $300,000. But there's still 16 committees that will operate this summer or meet this summer. And those start Monday with the Joint Technology Committee. They're sporadic and the schedules have not really been posted yet. Their agendas have not been posted yet. They have all been scheduled, and we'll work with Liz to make sure that we stay on top of those committees and also, get the city's priorities out in front of members when those opportunities arise.
Okay, and I know that I really want to make sure we keep track of the transportation one. So I looked at all the intern committees, and I know that they have agendas and also the audio with them. So, but the transportation, I want to really make sure we keep up with that. They had to be determined. So
Right.
definitely going to keep track of that one.
Right, absolutely.
And of
So,
course, Councilmember Hancock, because she is the chair of the Transportation Committee. So it's really going to be important to see what comes out of that one in particular. So.
yeah,
And
we
I would
watched-
appreciate a direct communication with regards to that. I know you funnel a lot of things through Liz, but I would like to know when those meetings are happening. And they're generally open to the public, or are they closed meetings?
They're all open.
Okay, because I would like to attend some of those meetings.
Oh, great, because we go in person as well. So that's very helpful to know ahead of time, council member.
Yeah, and then maybe at the Transportation Committee, Councilmember Hancock, you're the chair, but maybe give a little bit of an update, from what's going on the legislative side would probably be good. Everything interconnects, so that would be a choice of yours because you're the chair. So just a suggestion.
Thank you.
Oh.
I'm in agreement with that. So
Okay.
yeah,
There we
that's
go.
my intention. That's my
Okay.
intention, to be more proactively involved in what happens on the state level in terms of transportation and infrastructure. So thank you.
Anything else, Tatsi?
Yeah, since Peggy can't get on, I'm just gonna
I'm
give
on.
it there. Oh, she's on?
Yep, I
Okay,
get back
then-
in. Yes.
Yay!
Anything
ahead,
else,
Peggy.
Tatsi? Oh, Peg,
I'm-
okay,
The interim stuff is finished for now.
okay. Go ahead, Peggy.
Yes, thank you. Just want to give a brief update. The legislature and the Joint Budget Committee had their economic forecast update yesterday. Their June quarterly forecast, I think the theme of it was kind of up in the air. You know, a lot of questions, more questions than answered. At this point, they think there's a reduction of 177 million for fiscal year 25-26 and 500 million for 26-27. A lot of concerns around consumer confidence and spending, tariff implications. Apparently, the chance of a recession, according to the Colorado economists, went up from 40% to 50% in the last 3 months. Questions around the budget bill at the federal level. Cuts to Medicaid may impact our budget as much as 300 to 700 million. If in fact that is the case, we'll likely go back into a special session sometime in the fall, August, September, October timing. But just a lot of questions, more questions than answers, I think, at this point. I expect we'll have more of an idea of what's going on in the September forecast, and that'll probably be important for going back into special session and making changes on the budget at the state level that reflect those changes that are made at the federal level here in the next couple months. So more to come on that, but that'll probably really be the big focus this summer and fall for the legislature. I think there will be continued talks about Tabor reform because of these budget implications and budget concerns. I think that's going to be a hard row to hoe next session, but I'm sure we'll see some sort of legislation on that piece. But for some legislators, they feel like a big part of the problem that they're having with the budget is Tabor as opposed to state spending. So that debate will continue into next session. And we'll see how the special session comes out. But if something does pass at the federal level, then we'll have a special session. I think it's probably a 50-50 chance that that happens.
Councilmember Hancock, do you have any questions for Peggy's summary?
Oh, just a commentary. I just, every time, Tabor comes under attack, with these legislators wanting to siphon off all of that money, as opposed to dealing with the spending habits of giving everybody everything all the time, and somebody has to pay for this. This is the thing that irritates me, and what frightens me is that, or gives me really concern, is the fact that we have this overwhelming Democrat majority that seems to want to use the taxpayer as their own personal piggy bank. I just, what is the appetite and what is the fight level right now as this is moving through? What is your assessment or your feeling about how things are going?
I think it would be really difficult to pass something on Tabor and refer it to the voters and have the voters for it. Tabor is very, very complicated, but the pieces that the voters do understand, they value very much. So the ability to vote on tax increases, the ability to vote on changes to tax policy, the ability to hold the legislature in some sort of, guardrails for the budget. So those pieces, I think, would be really, really difficult to change the voters' mind on those pieces. And the rest starts to get real complicated, real hard, when you're talking talking about Tabor caps and what counts against Tabor caps and what doesn't, and cash funds versus general funds. I mean, so I think it will be an uphill battle, but I do think it's something that the discussion's going to continue.
And then
That gives me
Peggy-
hope.
Yeah.
That gives me hope.
Yeah. And then Peggy, I know that, we're not talking about legislation now, but when will bills start to start coming out this
Yeah.
year before this 2026 legislative session?
Yeah, it seems like we're kind of having a slow roll right now, which I think is fine. We're still, I think everybody's still recovering from the session. The interim committees will start to move soon. They will put in bill titles probably in the September timeframe, some of them as many as 10 bill titles. And then they will have drafts of bills and move forward potentially 5 bills from each of those committees. So I would say October out of the interim committees, and then we'll start to hear some rumors about bills, probably late summer or early fall. But there's no requirement that legislators release their bills. So we're kind of at their beck and call if they want to, collaborate and hold actual stakeholders meetings and really get feedback before session starts. But probably closer to fall, I would say.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that update. We're going to go to Cammie. Cammie, do you have anything to present?
I just have to add that the governor did sign our vehicle registration bill on June 2nd. Yay. So that will go into effect 90 days from sine die, which would be the beginning of August. So yay, that's done. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have a bill signing ceremony, I think, because of what happened in Boulder. But nonetheless, we got it through. So,
but the implementation will be what, January 2027?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish it was
January or
sooner, but
July.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
hoping it would be a little sooner, but at least we got
too.
it. At least you got
we'll
it
take
through.
what we can get, right?
Yeah.
We'll take what we can get. But I think the temperature and the what I've been seeing, and Chief Barnes, you could probably chime in on this, that I'm starting to see more activity in terms of what we're doing in the city of Aurora and holding people in compliance.
Absolutely, much more activity. I think Chief Rathbun presented the last Public Safety Committee meeting, and he should have talked about that, referencing, some of the data which we've been keeping, around vehicle registration and issuance of summonses and towing of vehicles and things that they essentially had 3 strikes. So we have taken great strides. I think the message is out. People are definitely trying to either steer clear of the city or get their affairs in order as quickly as possible, knowing that they're going to be penalized. So, great work by you guys, most certainly.
Yeah, I think when Commander Poppy came to my town hall in May, he said that there was over 1,000 vehicles at that time from the start of the implementation of the ordinance till that time frame of that meeting. And residents were really at my town hall were really happy about that. So you guys are really doing a great job on that. So
Thank you.
it's probably even
overall
more
consensus.
now. Yeah.
Yes, Chair. Yes, the overall
Absolutely.
consensus is that people are very they're increasingly satisfied with the activity. And, it's like the general term, people are saying, I'm tired of seeing this. I'm paying my fair share. When are we going to hold people accountable? And the fact that the city of Aurora took the lead on this, I think is really great. I think, again, as I like to see us be the gold standard in what city and what municipality should look like in terms of how we deal with crime and the other issues that face our communities. Aurora should take the lead. And if that, it doesn't matter that we didn't have a bill ceremony. I'm glad that it's in place. And I want to see us do more things like that.
Yeah, I wish they would implement it in Denver because I go to Denver and I see a whole bunch of violations. So, but let me just get off of that. So,
Liz, I do
I
want
see a ton
to,
of violations, believe me. No
Oh.
plates, no this, no that. So I'm just like, okay.
I think we're all very in tune to it because of the spell. Liz did make a good point. We did end up removing the 2027 date, so it will go into effect in August this year.
Oh,
August.
August
Okay,
of this
that's even
year.
better.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
All right.
So I apologize for that
Okay, so-
miscommunication.
And then I guess Pete, the city attorney's office will relay this to the police department and all the departments and stuff about it, right? Chief Barnes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's even better. Okay, fantastic. That's even better news. So, all right. Well, thank you, Cammie, for the presentation, and thank you for you guys for all you're doing, and especially this summer. I know you guys are happy about having a little bit of a break. So, but appreciate you for all the updates. Any other further questions from the committee to Cammie, Tatsi, or Peggy?
None from me.
Okay. And Councilmember Jurinsky is not saying anything as well. Okay,
No,
let's go to our
nothing from
water. Okay, thank you, Councilmember Jurinsky. Water update, Kathy.
I do not have any items for FSIR today, so I'm just here for questions.
Okay, nothing going on, nothing.
There's a lot going on. Stakeholdering has started. The interim committee discussions are in the works, but there's just nothing solid to bring forward at this time. There are no pieces of draft legislation, so it's just a lot of discussion right now.
Okay, all right. Right now we don't have any state or federal last minute bills because we're not really working on bills. Any miscellaneous matters for consideration from anybody? The committee or anyone else who's on this Zoom?
I have
Okay,
none.
Chief, have nothing? Okay. Chief Barnes, do you have anything to report out or anything?
No,
For the
ma'am, I
committee?
don't. Nothing
Okay.
at all.
Okay. All right, everyone. Our next meeting is July. Oh, Councilmember Jurinsky?
Sorry. Nope,
Oh.
it's Liz. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Liz.
Just want to give a shout out and plug. If you're going to CML next week, we will all be doing voting for board members. So Councilmember Lawson is running as a for the board of CML. So make sure if you're at the meeting, you vote. We'll be voting on a number of different municipality leadership as well.
Yeah, I'm competing with Denver and Colorado Springs, so we'll see how we go.
Done.
So thank you, everybody. Our next meeting is July 18th at 11. We're going to be virtual. And with that being said, we're adjourned. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Have a
Thank you,
good
everybody.
Chair.
weekend.
You guys have a
Bye.
great day. Thank you.